Hey, welcome back to No Hype Beer Reviews. Unless it's your first time, then welcome. Please consider subscribing. If you do, hit the notification bell, get all the updates. We're excited for today's video. The beer is courtesy of Brian. Thanks so much, Brian. I really appreciate it. So this is another one from, and I don't want to say it incorrectly, Alma Mater, because I always want to say Alma Mater. It's part of their membership series. So it is called No Dawn, No Day, 21 months in oak. It's from 2025 and it is 13.75% ABV. So I did look it up and just to see the information because it says oak. And I've talked about this in at least one video, maybe two videos, where it's not just oak. It's like the last one that he sent that I did was, and this is also a blend of different barrels, but it was Willett bourbons and rye. So this one I looked up, it's just bourbon. So anyway, so it's a stout. It's a blend of stouts aged in bourbon barrels. And then where does it say it? Somewhere it says it. Wait. I thought I said it somewhere. It must. Oh, duh, right here. Barrel aged imperial stout with coffee, maple, and cinnamon. So I think it says unboxing. Cinnamon's one of those ones that can be overdone easily. I think a little bit of cinnamon goes a long way in a beer. But I haven't been burned by cinnamon in a while, so I actually think I'm not worried about it. I'll put it that way. But it is something that I've noticed in a few beers in the past where I think it's just one of those ones that carries in a beer. So I'm really excited to try this. I mean, come on. Coffee, huge coffee fan. Maple. I'm not going to talk about my great-grandfather and how he's, used to go help him collect sap and help him boil into syrup. We never use the fake stuff, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not going to talk about that in this review. It's funny, just off topic real quick. I guess it's somewhat on topic, it's about this glass. So I watched this glass very thoroughly about an hour ago, and I was like, oh crap, I can't start the review yet. So I just put it upside down on the drying rack, and I can already tell it's just not freshly washed. There was some bubble sticking in the side glass. I don't think that's a coincidence. Anyway, let's just talk about the beer. All right, yeah, poor Brian's I didn't send you that to hear about your glass washing. So it's really dark. There's a little bit of brown in there, but that's pretty close to motor oil. Probably before I started rambling about washing this glass, there was maybe half a finger of head. Now about a quarter. And it's mostly sticking to the side glass, just a very thin film in the center of it. Some places there's nothing at this point. It's a mocha color, which is appropriate. Let's get into the aroma. I'm not going to turn this into an adjunct versus non-adjuncted stout video. I love both. I sometimes maybe the pendulum swings back and forth, which one I'd rather have, just a regular stout or one that has adjuncts. This one, it smells really good. The adjuncts are there nicely. The cinnamon is soft, it's warm, it's I don't think of cinnamon and chocolate together very often, but the chocolatiness of the stout is nice. I actually do get a subtle maple, which I don't get a ton of maple in maple beers. I've talked about that before on the channel, which is always a bummer, but I do think a lot of it ferments out. If I was doing this blind, would I know it had coffee in it based on the aroma? I might think it's just a stout that has a little bit of roast. But to me, the sweetness with that cinnamon, a little bit of that chocolate, I think the bourbon is helping this cinnamon chocolate desserty note I'm getting. Not that it smells it doesn't smell super sweet, but it's kind of like that pastry stout, but they didn't dump a cake into it. It's got these dessert elements. I mean, they did put cinnamon, coffee, and maple syrup in it, so I do get that, but it's not like they put a German chocolate cake in the whole thing or whatever. But anyway, let me do one more aroma. It smells really good. Yeah, it's almost like that caramelized sugar cinnamon on fried dough or something. More of the bourbon's coming through. I actually get oak, not just bourbon in the glass, which obviously does have some of the oak imparted in it. but like also just like a separate oakiness that's not interwoven with the bourbon thing I'm talking about. I get some vanilla. God, this smells great. And like the way the chocolate aroma, or the chocolatiness in the aroma is coming through is it's a little complex. There's a little bit of Hershey's Special Dark, a lot of milk chocolate, maybe even a kiss of chocolate syrup even. But it smells phenomenal. The adjuncts, nothing, I mean the cinnamon is dominating the adjuncts, but it also oddly doesn't seem out of whack. If that makes sense. But yeah, it smells awesome. Let's get into the taste. Cheers. Thanks again, Brian. Hope you're doing well. Really nice flavors. Yeah. I like how the oak, there's more oak in this than the aroma was leading me to believe, but I'm here for it. This one, just one of the first things I noticed, like, this is probably going to come across more love letter than beer review at times. But like one of the first things I did notice that I guess you could put under the criticism column is the other one. I think it had more viscosity, so it was kind of in my head. This one would have that level of viscosity, and I was approaching like media noche, like so we're talking like upper echelon of viscosity in a stout like this. Whereas this is plenty full, certainly fuller than like the Bourbon Counties from 2024, but like just a noticeable difference also from that other one I had. And again, like I don't know if that's quite a criticism, but like in my head that's what I was anticipating, so I was like, oh wait, that thing's not there. But back to the part that's going to probably just seem more love lettery. The cinnamon, definitely not overpowering. It is so nice in there. I love this element, the amount of cinnamon plays well with the chocolatiness I was getting from the stout and the aroma. I do get some of that in the taste. Excuse me, the bourbon, I actually kind of like the aroma. There's bourbon taste, but not like interwoven with the beer, not just like someone put a shot in the beer and it's like, what? Like completely interwoven. And then separate from that, you do get like this oakiness. It's not quite only exclusively tied to when I get the bourbon notes, which is kind of cool. The cinnamon, the cinnamon and the oak are what's lingering the most in my in the aftertaste on my palate. I'm trying to think. It's not exactly like the aroma, but this is one of those beers that follows the aroma pretty darn well in the taste. Like that coffee, and the coffee I saw, again, I looked this stuff up. I forget the name of the roaster, but like the coffee was like specialty roasted for the brewery and stuff, which I thought was cool. I think it was another local business to them, which is super rad. But anyway, I think the amount of coffee I'm tasting this, I could in a stout without coffee be like, oh, it's just roasty that way. I don't know how much more. Let me look. You know, before I really die on that horse, let me take another sip. Subtle maple, like the aroma had. And now I'm getting that in the aftertaste a little bit, which is nice. Very woody. I think that oak is compounding on my palate. Going back to the coffee. You know what? I'm glad I took that sip to really look only for the coffee. Then I happened to notice the maple and talked about that first. My God, this chocolate almost is like the chocolate wafer part of the Oreo. Just like not quite that sweet. It kind of has that vibe too. Anyway, and I'm like keeping everyone on edge about like, talk about the coffee. You keep teeing up, they're going to talk about the coffee. This is not actually roasty too much. There is some roast there. And here's what I find interesting about this, and I don't know how they did or how this, or how, if the process was different and how they got to this result, or if it's just same process and they got to this result as other breweries would do it. But it doesn't have a ton of roastiness from the coffee or the base beer. But it has unmistakably coffee notes. And when I was really looking for the coffee, those notes, those tastes, I don't think you could get out of just malts. Like I think you would have to add coffee to get that. So it's kind of interesting that it doesn't, like coffee's roasty and it's like somehow this did 100% of the taste of coffee, except the roast part is only at like 30%. Like it's really interesting. I'm here for it. It's cool. It's different in a unique way that is 100% still delicious. It's not like different and bad or different and okay, that's cool. I tried something new or different and like good. Like this is different and like really good. And yeah, that cinnamon is just, it's on point. It's not too much. Cinnamon and maple syrup and coffee, like those three things make so much sense to me with breakfast foods. And then the bourbon, like I love bourbon maple syrup. I literally used some yesterday in some pancakes my wife made. So like that makes sense. It's the stout chocolateness that I'm like, I don't know if like some of that, how well some of this will play. Like coffee, like I'm going off on like a tangent, like not everything I think needs to be said. Just ask my students. But I don't know, the cinnamon with the chocolate was throwing me off, like I said earlier. Like just as a concept, but it really works in this beer. So kudos to that. And I've had cinnamon and stouts before, but if they're, not that this is a chocolate bomb, this is enough chocolate that like, I was wondering if it'd be conflicting as I'm sipping it, and it has not compounded, has not been conflicting. So I don't know, this is really good. I feel like I could keep talking about this beer, but I also want to be mindful of people's time. And I should probably go check on Cooper. But I want to also make sure I'm doing a thorough job. Some nice residual sugar on my lips. So there's a sweetness to it. All right, I'll do one more sip, Brian, and everyone else who's like, no, keep going, man. I think when I said vanilla, I was talking about the aroma. There's not a, I know, get ready, everyone. Not a ton of vanilla in the taste. But even when I got in the aroma was pretty minimal. But it's definitely there. And like I was saying before, it's adding this other depth, this other layer of, it's desserty, it's pastry stouty without putting a whole actual pastry cake, tin of brownies, whatever, Little Debbie's cakes. I'm trying to think of other ones I saw back in the day. But yeah, so it's like that elevated dessert kind of a thing. It's a little breakfasty too. It kind of walks a few different realms, which is cool because it does make me, first and foremost, it made me think dessert stuff. But it is very breakfasty, which seems to be more what they're going for based on the ingredients. But anyway, I hear Cooper barking, so I'm going to go check on him. Brian, thanks again, man. I really appreciate it. Both beers were delicious. They really were. And like I've said many times, it's awesome seeing the local pride that you have. And I'm glad I got to try two of these and see, like, yeah, it's not misplaced pride. This is delicious. Both of these have been delicious. So thanks again. I really appreciate it. Have you guys had this beer before? Have you had anything from this brewery? Are you drinking a beer that sounds similar, completely different? You want something you want to talk about? Anything and everything. Comment section below. Let's get a conversation going. Once you're done doing that, make sure you check me out on Instagram and Untapped. It's No Hype Beer Reviews, both those places. So please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, imbibe. Cheers, everyone.